Hey everyone, welcome back to the Poplar Report. We got some big breaking news out there. A lot of reports coming from you guys. We got Democrats in California are starting to prep and are beginning to panic buy groceries, which is causing some shortages out there. We now have some answers, thanks to Texas Stetter, on where all those scrap cuts and animal parts are going, at least in Texas. You'll be interested to hear what those parts are going towards, so you can avoid them yourself and make sure that you're not having anything to do with those things, right? We got Russia cutting off natural gas to parts of Europe, and it's about to get a whole lot worse in the coming days. We got Gaza ceasefire to talk about. We got political prosecution of Trump and a whole lot more. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over the country, all over the world about what's going on out there. If you have an update or something you'd like to share with the audience, please make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment to get it to the right place. Appreciate all of you who participate in this, and it is an important work that we're doing. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They help people get out of stocks, out of bonds, out of risky things. If you want to be gambling on the stock market right now with your retirement, I mean, it's a free country. It's a free world for people, right? But if you want to get into something safe, like gold, silver, or platinum for your IRA, your 401k, your Canadian retirement plan, then you might want to talk to Jonathan and his team. There'll be a link at the end of the video for you to find out more. All right, so Russia has cut the natural gas line to Austria. Not Australia, Austria, right? Just in time for winter. Now, Austria energy company OMV were informed just hours before the flows were cut. They were told just before it, and suddenly, no natural gas has come with the pipelines. We have another major line that goes through Ukraine that is going to be shut down on January 1st. This is going to cut the contracts with Gazprom and they're not being renewed. This is partly Ukraine doing this. This is partly Russia doing this. They couldn't come to an agreement, and so it's going to stop. So Eastern and Central Europe are going to suddenly find themselves not getting enough natural gas. There's hoping to be able to import enough from the United States through ships, but that's a lot more expensive, and it's going to be hard for them to pull that off. Can they get enough in? We're going to find out. This is Hungary, Australia, and Slovakia particularly impacted by this. Ukraine is also going to be impacted by this too. Once Russia stops putting natural gas through those pipelines going across Ukraine, is Russia really going to not be incentivized to start attacking those natural gas pipelines, pumping stations, and power plants that still use natural gas? Right now, they're kind of incentivized not to attack those facilities, but once those contracts come to an end, they're going to be seen as kind of fair game. Russia has also blocked all enriched uranium exports to the United States, which is a big problem for the United States. How big of a problem? Well, 20% of the enriched uranium, 27%, last year in 2023 was what we used from Russia. So if Russia stops exporting, that means we have to buy 27% of all of our enriched uranium for our power plants. That all needs to come from somewhere, and it's not coming from Russia. We put a little bit of a ban on them, and then they kind of said, hey, if you're going to ban our enriched uranium, you got to go all the way. We're just going to cut it all off, because there were a bunch of loopholes and ways, if this is going to really cause a hardship for a power plant, they can still go ahead and purchase it. Russia's like, no, if you're going to ban it, just ban it. And so they're like, well, we're just not going to export to you for the next 2 years. A little over 2 years. And so the United States is now getting hit right in the face with that. And that is going to cause some serious problems. Globally, 44% of all the enriched uranium produced in the world is coming from Russia. So France uses a lot of nuclear power. They need a lot of uranium. We got other places in Europe using more nuclear power now. Once everyone realized, hey, nuclear power doesn't emit any carbon. Go figure. You would have thought we would have thought of that one sooner, but, funny how that works. All right, so there came a vote before the United Nations just yesterday where the UN was voting on a ceasefire in Gaza. Now, the UN doesn't have any troops there, and the UN, why is the UN voting on this anyway? 14 countries voted for the ceasefire in Gaza. The United States was the only country to vote against it, and we blocked it by vetoing it. Part of that reason was because the ceasefire did not mention any of the hostages that Hamas still holds. So they're just supposed to stop shooting at each other, but why are they shooting at them in the first place? Is because they took hostages and committed all sorts of atrocities. That hasn't been rectified. No mention of the hostages, even though it's over a year later. The United States, at the behest of Israel, vetoed that. Let me know what you guys think about that. I mean, I'm all about peace. I don't think that peace should be imposed, and doesn't mean that in any conflict, the parties are not equal. It's kind of like, well, both sides did bad things and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but if one side started it, that really does matter. It really does. I mean, I don't care what the grade school teachers say. If a kid goes up to another kid and socks him right in the face, and then they're on the ground screaming because they got, popped back, I think the fact that they threw the first punch is completely relevant. And as much as you think that we move beyond that as we become adults and have countries and stuff like that, no, it's basically the same. Playground rules is basically how the world works. And if you don't like that, well, you can go find another planet, because that's how Earth works, right? And Hamas, I mean, there's history there for sure, but Hamas went and did this last October and massacred thousands of Israelis and took many of them hostage and treated these hostages in such abhorrent ways. I mean, you're not supposed to assault your hostages. You're not supposed to mock executions on them. You're not supposed to do all this stuff. And yet that's exactly what they're doing. And these were civilians. These weren't military. Most of them were not military people that were taken. They were mostly civilians. And there are a good number of them still being held, including several Americans. So let's go over to other political stuff. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, who has a criminal case against Donald Trump. He's the one who got the 37 criminal felony counts because Donald Trump overestimated, according to them, one of his buildings. The bank that this happened to said, oh no, we're fine with it. He paid us back the loan, and no harm, no foul. And of course, Alvin Bragg's like, no, that's a crime. That's a crime. In fact, that's 37 crimes. So we're supposed to get the sentencing, right? And Alvin Bragg is basically saying he wants to delay the sentencing till after Trump is president. Why would he do that? In the generosity of his heart? No, not the generosity of his heart. No. He's an evil, evil man who is an absolute political tool, a political hack, right? This guy, what he wants to do is he wants to kick the sentencing beyond President Trump's presidency so that he can't pardon himself. The other thing that he wants to do is he wants this hanging over his head so that he can't appeal. Until you get sentenced, you can't appeal that case. And there's so many grounds for appeal on this. The political hackiness of all this stuff, the fact is that this is such a baseless basis for any kind of charges, criminal. There's a reason why the Biden administration did not bring these charges against Trump in the first place. There's a reason why some podunk attorney in Manhattan is the one bringing these charges. And does he have any kind of basis for this or any kind of jurisdiction for this? The answer to that is probably no. This is going to get overturned in appeal like that for like 15 different reasons. Even the fact that since this case has been decided, the Supreme Court has put out several decisions that directly impact how this case went. So ample grounds for appeal. He needs to be sentenced right off the bat. They need to just go ahead and sentence him. And he needs to immediately go ahead and appeal it and actually get his day in court and have this overturned like that for, like I said, a dozen different reasons why this is absolutely insane and unprecedented in American history. Speaking of political mob insanity, the House Ethics panel finally agreed not to release Matt Gaetz's unproven and unverified allegations against him. Basically, a lady came in and she said, I got something juicy to say, and she gave a testimony, a deposition, sat in a room, and she told her story. There's no corroborating evidence to any of this. She just came in and told a story. And let's just say, the Biden administration, Merrick Garland, who is the current Attorney General, who is a total political hack, he reviewed this and he decided, and the Justice Department decided, that there's no grounds for any kind of charges to be brought against Matt Gaetz. The Democrats and the Democrat-run White House decided that there were no grounds for charging him. So, should that testimony be released where he has no opportunity to defend himself? No, the answer is not. Marjorie Taylor, the other congresswoman, threatened to release all ethics documents. If they released this, she was threatening to release all of the ethics documents. Any kind of allegation that was ever made against any congressman, any congresswoman. And let's just say that would be the day. How many of these people were paid out of government funds for allegations that were made against people in Congress? Those stories have never been told. And yet, so I don't know if her threat was kind of what moved the committee, but she was threatening to release basically everything, every allegation ever made against any congressperson, which, yeah. Anyway, so it's baseless testimony. Unless there's some facts, unless there's some, other testimony, something else. You can't just have someone just come in like, oh yeah, I just remembered something happened to me, like 2 decades ago that I haven't talked to anybody about. And, oh yeah, I happen to work for I'm a Democrat and they're a Republican, and yeah, they just happen to get in a position of power, so I want to go and accuse them of stuff. Yeah, that's just not cool. That's not cool at all. There needs to be something there, right? There needs to be something there. I don't believe all men, and I don't believe all women. That's just, I'm a little suspicious of people with political motivations. Yeah, I'm a little suspicious. Raising Jane says, I recently, 3 days ago, received an alert from Costco that I might have purchased the organic carrots, possibly infected with the E. coli, right? The message stated I purchased the carrots between April 15th and September 30th. Those carrots were eaten weeks ago. Obviously, they should be. Thankfully, no one got sick, but that's just a little too late. I'm on a local Costco Facebook page, and many of the people reported the same late notice. At least no one posting about this was negatively affected. This is Utah County, Utah. Also, Costco hasn't had organic eggs for months, and we're completely out of the 5 dozen egg packs on Monday. Now, like I said, so a lot of these carrots that were recalled, there's none of them on the shelf right now. They went out weeks ago. So if you have organic carrots from weeks ago, be a little more concerned. But most of this stuff is so after the date. It's already so old information. They should have gotten this information out earlier, but apparently we didn't know why these people were getting sick all across the United States until it was too late. Amy says, a coworker in Illinois recently bought a turkey by the same brand that she buys every year. She got it home and looked more closely at the label. The label said genetically modified. That's concerning. I could be wrong, but I've never seen that on a turkey label before. I feel like turkey should be the only ingredient in a turkey. Can you believe that? Just remember to read the labels on everything, especially meat. You know what you're buying, friends. Tennessee Mountain Girl says, I went to Whole Foods to pick up some sourdough bread. I didn't get time to make mine. I was curious to see what the egg prices were, so I went over there. There were 0 eggs in the refrigerated section, which were 2 whole refrigerators. Thank goodness I have my own eggs. Yeah, friends, we are getting reports of egg issues all over the place. Yakking cactus. Cactuses should not be yakking, but okay. North Central Arizona Safeway asked the manager working in the aisle why there was 5 feet of soups and 30 feet of fruit drinks. And he shrugged and said, sugar sells. He also said they are discontinuing the white wine vinegar. Frankly, I think they are turning supermarkets into huge convenience stores. The stuff for dinner will probably be drone dropped by government boxes soon. Liz says, Lincoln, Nebraska. I bought 2 little boneless hams from Sam's Club. I opened one and it was downright slimy. It was revolting to look at. It didn't smell bad, so we rinsed it off and cooked it, but I was so grossed out by it that I would not eat it. The next day, my husband took the remaining ham back and got refunds for both of them. Sam's is good about returns of bad food. I told my daughter that I'm willing to pay so much more for farmer-raised meat. She might get a side of beef. She used to stock her freezers with sale meat, but no longer can find meat on sale and has to buy it each week at full price. Terry says, yeah, I've been seeing that too. Is anyone else noticing that too? There just isn't meat on sale anymore. It seems like they just keep selling the meat until it sells. And so you're buying full price meat that's not up to quality. I mean, when you're buying discount, at least you kind of look at it and you go, this might be a little bit iffy, but I need to get it cooked right away, right? Well, Terry says, I live in California, and today employees of different grocery stores told me that shortages are back in California. People are stocking up. Why are the people stocking up? That's right, because people in California happen to be on the left side of the political paradigm, right? People are stocking up, and I specifically asked if it was because of the holidays. I was told, nope. People are worried about, ready for this, Trump's tariffs and inflation. Trump's inflation. You have been warned, friends. People on the left end of the spectrum are getting more prepped, okay? And maybe some of you guys are tuning in for the first time. Texas Stetter, who brought us one of those critical reports on what's going on with the parts and the junk trash parts being used for something out there. Texas rancher again on the scrap meat being bought at the bulk processor after investing in a 6-pack of Shriner long necks to sit and converse with the processor. I gleaned a bit more information. Seems the company that's buying it all is doing 3 different things with all of these trash cuts. One is, if you really have a queasy stomach, you might want to just skip ahead for just a moment. One is that they're boiling the bones for hipster bone broth, jarred for grocery stores. Well, that's logical enough. Okay, that's cool. Bone broth. Good stuff. Secondly, is they're using the fats for making lipstick and other stuff in the makeup industry. Okay, that's kind of yuck. 3, they're boiling the skins, hides, and hooves for collagen pills. Also for skincare, even more yuck. Lastly, they're using the meat for making high-end, grass-fed, organic meat sticks like a Slim Jim, but for more like Whole Foods type gimmick. That might be the most yuck of the lot. So they're making these high-end organic, grass-fed meat sticks, but they're not telling you what parts of the animal they're using for that. They're using the worst cuts. Anyway, that's the short of it. No grand conspiracy, just being made into products for people with more money than sense. Friends, I think we may all be on that end of the side of things at some points, right? Where we're buying stuff that we don't really know what's going into it, and we just buying it anyway. RJ says, update, the East Texas area wife, my Texas area wife, has been craving stuffed bell peppers from the local Walmart here. They had green bell peppers, but at $1.19 each for the green ones that looked and felt soft and rubbery, not crisp and fresh, the colored ones. Okay, before we go on any further here, this is like 2 paragraphs full with not a single mark of punctuation. So I'm trying my best. Okay? So the colored ones were $4.95 for a bag of 3, and they look pretty wilted and not fresh as well. Seen quite a few shelves throughout the grocery store, were very light. I used to work for Walmart a very long time ago. There would have been department heads rolling if the shelves were allowed to be that low. For some context, thank you, Steve, for all you do. May God bless and keep you and all of our community, saying prayers daily for us all. RJ from East Texas out. Thank you for the report. Good report. Daniel says, Wisconsin near Madison, eggs increased $2 in the past week. Prices up, but inventory good. Carlos says, I've been a longtime viewer of your channel, listen to your daily updates. I've been hearing about the saline shortage for a while now, but haven't encountered it since I don't go to the doctor for anything. However, as of Monday, my donation CSL plasma has told us that there's a saline shortage, and they now give us small Powerades instead of saline. We've been talking about that, the saline shortage and it's IV shortage in general, actually. The IV bags were produced at a number of factories, one in Florida that got damaged during a recent hurricane, and also one in North Carolina got basically destroyed. Mayo says, we dealt with job loss, but it wasn't as bad because I listened to you beforehand and stocked up on items like meat during the summer sales. We were even able to help out others dealing with joblessness during that time who were in need of food. We don't agree on everything, but I do believe the work you do is important, our whole community, right? The topics discussed are things that I don't see on the news, and if I do, it's well after you reported on it. I saw an article yesterday about Sweden, Finland, and Norway giving its citizens pamphlets on essential prepping for an upcoming war. We talked about that a few days ago, right? I doubt that would ever happen in America, and if it does, it would be too late. Thanks for keeping folks aware of what's going on globally and nationally. Thank you all for being a part of this. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right there. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.